The big question on many people's mind must be, Tesla is great, but what comes next? Zero emission, is that it? Now with the smartphone, the world's richest company Apple created a whole new market, which wasn't exactly consumer demand driven. Most people were just fine with having a mobile phone. This is called technology push. Now can you imagine what it means when someone would bring a smart device that opens up whole new possibilities for going from A to B in person? And that could be called market pull. Hi dear Fisita Congress attendees, welcome and thank you for tuning in. In this live explanation I summarize my paper. My paper is about combining the greening of the car with the quest for automation. In a nutshell, fusing what's necessary and what is pleasurable. Now, to see where we're heading, I think it's best to take a moment to realize where we came from. So many superlatives are applicable to the industry that brought so many people the joy and the comfort of driving wherever and whenever they want to go. No wonder that the car constitutes the world's most important single consumer product, but also a household's biggest expense, and a serious concern to authorities because of its impact on the environment. Without Tesla, there wouldn't be that big of a push for electromobility policies which most industrial nations have adopted by now. I think it's a remarkable feat since Tesla started out in the United States, and that has an auto industry that lacks innovation and export ambition, because of its gasoline prices, which are 50 to 70% cheaper than they are in the EU, and where travel distances tend to be longer, which makes range and recharging a bit of a problem. Therefore, Tesla is a real testament to the fact that consumers are more receptive to new things than car makers gave them credit for. Still, one might conclude that what Tesla did is swap the internal combustion engine for electric drive. Not much more. Even its cars look pretty conventional. One might say that after Tesla's success, its Silicon Valley colleagues must have thought, what more is there to gain and improve that the established brands in the world's largest industry have been ignoring? Well, a car is maybe used 5 to 10% of the time. That is one expensive piece of hardware that's parked outside. Why not put cars to good use by having their owners exploit them as taxis? Companies like Uber and Lyft will hook up the drivers to people looking for a ride. Several snags hit this so-called ride-hailing business, however. First of all, it's difficult to dominate the market when more contenders in other parts of the world enter the same market and develop themselves into strong regional players. Secondly, all sorts of legal objections began to frustrate the business of ride-hailing as something without any contractual obligations towards the drivers. No wonder that Silicon Valley entrepreneurs decided to explore whether ride-hailing can be performed without human drivers. In other words, deploy self-driving taxis. But there's where the really serious hemorrhaging of investors' billions started to take place. And so far without the prospect that full autonomy will be within reach soon. And we've all seen what happened to Teslas with the so-called autopilot switched on. And here's where I come to my main thesis, namely that making our favorite mode of transportation, the car, eco-friendly, and making it drive itself are basically two highly coveted sides of the same coin. Look, the less a car weighs, the fewer batteries and kilowatts are required. It's easier on the electrical grid too. Less powerful chargers may do the overnight job of replenishing your electric car. And this is all good for the environment. Truth is that the typical car box shape is not conducive to combining lightweight materials and rigidity. Airplanes and tunnels are cylindrical for a reason. The other half of the same coin is that the smaller the car's footprint, the more space there is to maneuver autonomously and to evade other road users. A byproduct, so to speak, is that authorities will love that the road infrastructure can be used more efficiently, and the vehicle weight per passenger displaced will be a lot less, which will reduce wear and tear of roads and bridges. New technology tends to influence product format. I'm talking the way it is shaped, how it works, and appeals to the customer. The smartphone is a great example. Instead of putting autonomous hardware and software as add-ons in conventional cars, I think it's best to reformat the vehicle first to have it benefit from the best driverless technology available. Now, people have made the comment that my subject matter is more journalistic, not really scientific. I'd say to this, too many experts keep talking in abstract data and targets. The motto, in my opinion, should be, don't just tell or write about it, show how things can make a difference. And that is why I made a unique effort to bring together what is important in next generation mobility and to give it a face, a definition, an explanation. Another threat is looming more prominently. Major cities tend to curb incoming car traffic and car parking. More and more city councils and urban planners start to object to the car's intrusiveness because of what it does to our living environment and out of safety concerns. They lower maximum speed to 30 km per hour and favor micromobility solutions like cycling. Now, anticipate developments, especially in the legislative, isn't something automakers have been very good at. The way authorities crack down on the emissions testing violations is proof of that. It took the industry completely by surprise. Reducing vehicle footprint and mass not only makes sense in many ways, but we also get the chance to bridge the growing gap between cars, which have grown bulkier with the whole SUV trend, and micromobility, two-wheelers in short. Look, as the car loses its petrol engine-based engineering, it will basically become an oversized electric toy car, a smart mobility appliance that runs on wheels and batteries. This means that OEMs other than car brands may step up to the plate of producing one. Now go to my non-audio 12-page presentation pack to see which assertions I've made, how to fill in relevant aspects, how safety will be vastly improved, and what engineering is involved. Again, with the smartphone, Apple created a whole new market, which wasn't exactly consumer demand driven. With the 3-passenger semi-three-wheeler I have presented here, a provider will be able to cater to the needs and wishes which have been tucked away for far too long, since car drivers didn't know any better. This, as well as meet new requirements by the government, in a market that's maybe 20 to 50 times bigger than the smartphones. So this is also about how the industry may profit from a more proactive stance based on fresh, outside the car box thinking. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.